struggles of trying to record while working from home, I just turned my whole damn computer off.
Alright, y'all. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. I am IAmAdriaRenee,
And today we're going to hope that this radiator does not mess up the audio for my video. Okay, anyways.
Can y'all hear that? This is going to blow me if you can hear that. And it's more like a story time because I just feel like I am so outdone by the last, let's see, we're in April, December, last 4 months of my life, 5, 6, 7 months of my life. I'm so outdone. Like, I'm way past outdone that this needs to be discussed with y'all, with somebody, I don't know. Hey to the new people. I'm not consistent, clearly. But if you've been, you know, you see my videos before, you understand, and it's okay. You love me anyway, so that's fine. But as I was saying, the last 7 months have been a hot mess. Outdone. Extremely outdone by the audacity of the male species. Of someone I allowed into my life for three months. I have never regretted something so short-lived as much as I regret what we're about to discuss. So, let's get into it. Like I said, I moved here in March. And I moved my things here because originally, you know, it was just me, a couple suitcases. I filled my car up and we drove here because I had to start a job. I was living with my goddaughters, because I got 2 of them now. It's been a minute. I was living with them. And so, did that, stayed there for a couple months. And then I moved out in June, so July 1st basically. So I've almost been in this apartment for almost a year, and I'm not trying to hit that year. Then I officially moved my furniture, my bed, everything else here in October. Now, due to some circumstances that were out of my control, out of everybody's control, I had to rely on someone who will be no name during this entire video because but nonetheless, I had to rely on someone that I had just met, worked with, who out to bam. So he helped me move, and then he never left. He never left. And I mean, he didn't move in. I mean, like, he helped me move, and then he was always in my space. Now, mind you, I didn't have an issue with this originally. He helped me move. He never left.
It's funny because my dad drove the truck here and he told my mother, oh yeah, her and her friend are moving it, and my mom was like, that man ain't moving in with her. And he wasn't, and that was the beginning of our problems. So, nonetheless, that happened. He helped me move.
Decided for some reason to start dating this man who helped me move. Why? Hindsight is 2020. I was on the rebound. We started dating, and I'm just like, I'm just thinking about all the things that were a hot ass mess. So nonetheless, look, red flag started immediately because this man didn't know me from a can of paint, but helped me move. Mind you, that was, I guess, more for his benefit than mine because he somehow knew that if he helped me move, he was in like Flynn. He shouldn't have been, but somehow that's how that transpired. But I guess this was happening when you're in when you get into a relationship on the rebound. Never got into a relationship on the rebound in my life, except for this one, and I regret it. Right? So we'll never do that again, right? Never. So my birthday comes, and like I said, red flags. We're just gonna knock down all the red flags, and then y'all can tell me that I'm an idiot at the end. And it's fine. It's okay, because I've accepted it. And actually, I'm not an idiot. I just got punked. I got punked so hard. So hard. I've never been punked before in my life, okay? Like Ashton Kutcher punked. Like, it was real life. So, my birthday came. If any of you guys follow me on social media, you'll have seen that post where one of my friends, it was like a meme that came out, and it was like, what's the brokest ish a man has ever done in your presence, or something to that effect. And my friend commented and said, this reminds me of the birthday bag with nothing in it, right? So I'm gonna insert a picture right here for y'all to see. I was real cute on my birthday. I was real cute. I was skinty. I'm big as a house right now, but we're not gonna talk about it. I'm working on it. Jesus. But nonetheless, this picture, I'm gonna show a couple pictures, okay? They were just real cute. So, this birthday bag. Yeah, so he buys me a birthday gift for show. He buys me a birthday bag with the tissue in it, a balloon, and a card. And fast forward to when we break up, he brings that up and says,
I spent my last dime on you for your birthday, woo-wah-bam, right?
Okay, so rewind to my birthday. So this birthday bag was empty. The only thing in it was the tissue paper. The balloon was great. The birthday card was great. But you spent your last dime on this for my birthday, and you could have kept the bag at the store. Then this man ends up homeless because he didn't want to put his name on a lease or something, and so something ends up happening.
Man, getting evicted because the person he living with ain't paying rent, but taking his money supposedly and buying a truck and doing all these things, but ain't paying rent, so they get evicted. So,
in the midst of his eviction, I got all types of things going on in my apartment. My damn radiators are leaking. My fucking bathroom ceiling is leaking. Excuse my language. My kitchen done flooded. All types of crazy foolishness is going on in my apartment. And I guess because I wasn't basically telling this man he could move into my home, that it was an issue. Because when he became homeless, I wasn't like, oh, so what are we gonna do? Because that's not my problem. Like, this man was older than me. I think he thought that I was stupid, or I don't know. Plus, we got into an argument about that because he was like,
you're not even concerned about...
No, I'm not, because you're a grown-ass man, and if you ended up homeless, that's on you. So he basically wanted to be here all the time. Mind you, we worked opposite shifts. So I worked night shift, he worked day shift. So he wanted to come to my house when he got off work. So he would be in my house, then he would leave. Sometimes, a couple times he tried to spend the night. I told him no initially. I let him spend the night, I think, twice over the course of those 3 months we were together, because he was annoying as hell. That's all it was. He was annoying as hell. He was a child, and it's crazy to me how this grown-ass man didn't have his shit together. Because what happened is that he was homeless from that situation for a second when he realized I wasn't going to let him move into here, where Adria is paying the rent. Adria is paying the utilities. Adria is putting food in this house. Adria is buying the paper products for this house. Adria is doing all of these things for her home. And he thought he was just gonna be in here, just hanging out. So then he finds somewhere else to live, far as hell away from me, right? And then still wants to be over here all the time. And I'm just like, you live far as fuck, and you don't have a car. So, and Adria's not driving her car. Adria's not spending her gas to come see you. Like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't have an issue doing certain things, but I'm very traditional when it comes to dating. I'm very traditional when it comes to certain things. So the point is that, like, you're supposed to be courting me. You're supposed to be doing things for me. You don't have a car, you don't have a place to stay, but yet, you think,
like, I ain't sugar mama. I'll be a sugar baby, but I ain't sugar mama, so.
I don't know what you thought this was. We worked in the same area. So it takes me 30 minutes to get home, tops. It would take him like 2-3 hours to get here. And I'm just like, but you're coming from the same place I was at umpteen hours ago. Like, why is it taking you 2 hours to get? Okay, whatever. Whatever. So that was happening. Plus, he then moved far away. So what would happen was, he would get off work, he would come to my house. He'd stay in my house. Then he would have to take this 2-hour commute home, because then he wanted to ride back. He wanted to ride with me to work, and then would go home. Which, I mean, he had to go back that direction anyway. But the point is, it was stupid. It was dumb as hell. But that's what he wanted to do. Whatever. And at the time, I was still all rebounded as hell. So I was here for all the in my house time, most of it. Then he got kicked out of that place because he supposedly told the guy he was gonna move out at a certain time. And then the day came, and the guy was like, "All right, well, you're supposed to move out tomorrow because I got somebody else moving in." And he was at my house when he got this, or no, he was at work when he got this information, and they came to my house. And I believe this is when my kitchen out of nowhere started flooding. Like,
all I heard was water because some idiot came and was doing stuff that was not supposed to be done to my apartment. I had explained to these people what was wrong, and they sent some random ass man who didn't know what the hell he was doing in here.
my kitchen was full-fledged flooding, okay? Like, to the point where now, many months later, I don't open the cabinets underneath my sink because God only knows what's under there, okay? That's how bad it was flooding, and that's how much they didn't do to fix it. So at that time, I was having that issue, and I guess I was supposed to be,
Again, like, oh, you can move in here, it's okay, it's fine, blah, blah.
no, bro. Like, one thing everyone knows about Adria, and y'all will find out too if you're new here, I like my space, unless you're certain people. And even still, I still like my space. So, and then on top of the fact that this is the second time you've been homeless in the past two months. Like, said in August you were homeless, September, October you found somewhere to live, November you were homeless. Like, and you're grown, like, you're past grown. You got a whole ass kid who's a teenager or preteen. She close enough, okay? Like, so no, I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel bad for you. The first time I felt bad. The second time, it's just like, what are you doing, right? So that happened. He was mad. We watched BAM. Red flag number 19,000. I was knocked out because, again, I work nights, he works days. So when I get off work in the morning at 7 a.m., I go to sleep, okay? And especially when I was commuting. So I'm asleep most of the time in the middle of the day. If I didn't respond to this man by like 2 o'clock, it was a problem. And so what happened was, I ended up sleeping super long one day because he had been in my house all night. I didn't get sleep to go to work. So I went to work, was tired as dirt, get off work, come home, eat breakfast. I think I had a lot to eat that day too. God only knows. And you know, when you eat, you be sleepy and you go to sleep. So I hadn't slept. So I literally probably slept until like 4, 5, 6. It was late. And he gets off at 5-ish, 4-ish. I don't know what time he get off. Who cares? So I wake up to so many text messages, so many phone calls. I'm still knocked the hell out. And then when I woke up, I was hungry. So ain't nobody worried about texting you. Like, you're not one of my parents, and I ain't got no kids other than my godchildren, and they got parents. And they not reaching out to me. So yo texts are not relevant. Like, they're not relevant. I don't care what you talking about. I'll look at my phone, see all this. Yep, all right. And then I proceeded to go into my kitchen and fix me some food. I think I was sweeping my floor too. I was doing all types of weird shit because I was energized. I had energy. I had slept on. Next thing I know, my doorbell is ringing. And if anybody knows me, and I feel like everybody's like this, you do not show up to people's houses unannounced. I don't care what you're talking about. You definitely don't show up and think you're finna get in, okay? My doorbell rings, and I'm just like, seriously? And mind you, living in this establishment, my doorbell rings often, and most of the time it's not for me. But I knew it was for me because I'm sitting here thinking, I haven't texted this man back. I was going to when I finished fixing my food, because food is bae. Even when I have a bae, food is still bae. So I was going to text him back eventually. But instead of this man making sure that, one, I was at home. Lord. This man comes directly to my house from work and proceeds to keep ringing my doorbell, okay? And then keeps calling me. And I'm like in my head, thinking back on it, why did I let him in? But I know why I let him in, because it was one of those things where, you know, when you know people have issues, but you're okay with it. And so it's one of those things where it's like, if I don't let him in, he's going to keep ringing my doorbell. He's going to keep calling me. He's going to keep doing this. He was also super paranoid, and I don't know why, because all I did was come home and go to work. So if I wasn't at work, I was at home. If I wasn't at home, I was at work. And if I was at home, I was asleep. Everyone else knew, but for some reason, his ass, it didn't click. But it was one of those things where I knew I wasn't going to have any peace if I didn't let him in my house. So I pick up my phone. He's stalker calling me. I answer the phone. I'm like,
"Are you outside my house?" And he was like, "Yeah."
So I let him in. So he's pissed. And in my head, I'm just like, how are you pissed at me? And you just showed it to my house unannounced. And so I was mad as hell. So he went into the living room, sat his little mad ass down. I proceeded to keep doing what I was doing. And then I was like, you know what? Let me be an adult. Because I'm working on that. So let me be an adult. Let me not hold in my feelings. Let me let these feelings out that I'm feeling right now. And so I stopped with my bro in my hand. And I was like,
can you never do that again? And he kind of looked at me, and I was like, can you not show up to my house unannounced? This man comes and says to me,
"I didn't show up unannounced. We had discussed I was coming over here."
but if you haven't heard from me, you don't show up. Like, I don't know where they do that at. Like, that's not what you do. Like, I don't care if we're dating or not. If you don't hear from me for hours, don't come to my house. You should have took your ass where the hell you lived at and then waited until I responded.
And this is when he was living far as hell away from me. So it was just like, you just wanted to come out here for no reason. So did that. He's upset. He's mad.
I said, "You want me to leave it in my hair?"
Like, hell yeah. Like, you don't, my aura, whatever it's called, isn't getting that off to you to get the fuck out of my house. Guess not. So
he didn't leave. He stayed in my house for a couple more hours, and I had to go to work. He was still upset. And I guess, again, I don't know what this man thought, because I ain't the one. So, like, you want to be mad about something that has nothing to do with anything, and it's your fault. I'm not about to baby you. I'm not finna coax you. Oh, woo, no, I'm not. So, nonetheless, he was mad. I looked at him because he was standing a distance from me as I was waiting on the bus. He wasn't, oh, no. He was living at his mama's house at this point because he didn't get on the bus. That's right. So I looked at him, and he was far as hell away, and I wasn't finna miss my bus to go walk towards. No. So I got on the bus. I get a
text. "Oh, so you couldn't say goodbye to me?"
"You're a child." Okay, next, whatever. So I let that go. So then I'm just pointing out to y'all how punked I got. I got punked so hard. And I just want to know if y'all can relate to my getting punked, because Lord knows I was not expecting to get punked this hard, and to then think about it a couple months later and realize how punked I got. So then let's think, this is probably not in order, but it doesn't matter because it's all a hot mess. So then I'm trying to think, the next time I got punked or the next red flag that happened was, actually this isn't a red flag, but it's kind of like, it just adds to the,
why the hell was I in this relationship? Because this man was self-centered as hell and narcissistic as hell and only cared about himself and didn't care nothing about nobody else.
Something we had discussed which I tell most people, I hate
flowers. I hate real flowers because they die. What do I want a real flower for? They die. If I leave it sitting on my counter, it might be a fruit fly. I don't know how the hell flowers work, but I don't want them. I don't like them. They die. So, like, I don't know how to dispose of a dead flower. Like, fuck. So,
I don't like flowers, right? Like, give me some fake flowers, give me some wooden flowers. Those are cute. Have y'all seen those? Check those out. Wooden flowers are really pretty. Give me some silk flowers. Give me any flower that's not alive, and we're good. So this man proceeds to keep buying me real flowers, and I'm just like, okay, all right, sure. So he does that. So I was like, I don't know why you keep buying me these flowers. I don't want them. They die, and then I throw them in the trash. So why are you wasting money on a couple other red flags? The man shows up to my house. Tells me he's going to see his kids the next day, which is why I let him spend the night, because this is when he was living up north. So yeah, these stories aren't in order, like I said, but he was living up north, so which far as dirt, I live closer to his family and his child. So it was sure, you spend the night. It was a weekend anyway, so I didn't have to go to work the next morning, but it was like, yeah, you can spend the night because you're going to see your kid in the morning. He didn't go see his kid. This happened multiple times. So it was like, why are you spending the night at my house? And then so it would be like, this was a consistent thing where literally I was off Fridays and Saturdays for, I want to say most of those weekends, he was at my house Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it was just like, this isn't okay. Like, I like my space. Like, I can't go anywhere because you're in my home, and I don't trust you in my home. Like, I don't want you in here. You don't know how to lock. Oh, more red flags. This man would go outside my house to smoke a cigarette. I have a screen door and a back door. She would be left unlocked. I would go behind him. 9 times out of 10, it was unlocked. He swore.
Yeah, I didn't leave it unlocked. Who did that? Who did? Because it wasn't me.
So that happened multiple times. Multiple times it occurred where I don't know where he was raised, because I don't know what person sits in their outside clothes in a bed, in this bed. This man, I woke up one day because at the time my radiators weren't working properly, but I was okay. Like, I would prefer to be cold than hot any day. So my radiators were being dumb and it was fine. It wasn't a big deal. And I woke up multiple times and this man had on full clothes, jeans, t-shirt, or fucking sweatpants, whatever the fuck he had on, because he dressed crazy too, but that's a whole nother story that we're not going to talk about. He would literally have all his clothes on, and then had the nerve to have his jacket on a couple times, like the coat that he was wearing outside, in my bed, like in my bed. And I mentioned it multiple times, and he kept doing it and got mad when I brought it up. So that was a problem. My ceiling in my bathroom started leaking because we found out recently that
my neighbor upstairs, her fixtures in her bathroom, like, they were leaking in the tub, and we didn't wear the tub shower, so whenever she used the tub or the shower, like, the water would spurts out, and it would come down the wall and into my bathroom. So over time, you know, water. So that happened.
And yeah, so I had explained this to him, told him it was happening, whatever the case may be, and I had let him spend the night at my house. I was at work. I was on my way home. I get this frantic ass text message talking about,
your ceiling in the bathroom is leaking, and blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like,
But I told you the ceiling in my bathroom was leaking.
it was followed by a picture of my Tupperware bowl. Not like a random butter bowl that I had cleaned out, not, you know, any other bowl that's not really a Tupperware bowl. It was a full-fledged, this is Tupperware bowl, bro. He put my bathroom rug on top of my radiator and then put the Tupperware bowl on top of that to catch the dripping water. Y'all, I went off. I went smooth off. And by the time I got home, my Tupperware bowl was back in my cabinet. My sink was dry, okay? So what that means is that you took a paper towel and you wiped out my bowl and then put it back in my cabinet, as if the dirty fucking water from my ceiling wasn't dripping into this bowl. So it was just like, what? You know, again, looking back, hindsight in 2020, like, what the hell was wrong with me? Because this man literally didn't clean out my Tupperware bowl, but put that bitch back in the cabinet. And I had dirty ass
water from my bathroom upstairs dripping into my bathroom, and you thought it was appropriate to use my Tupperware bowl to catch the water?
Then he proceeds to bring, I'm giving you this background to tell you how shit hit the fan. Then he proceeds to bring 2 electric heaters into my home because he was cold. Not because I was cold, because he was cold. He says he brought them in here because he didn't want me to be cold. But I had explained to him I wasn't cold at all. But he was always over here, so I guess he
was like, no, I need heaters in here so that I can feel comfortable.
Brought the heaters to my house. They increased my electric bill by like $100. Did he pay for it? No, of course not. No, he didn't pay for that. The pipes had randomly, like the white pipes underneath the sink had randomly fallen, and from what I'm told, that can happen if you don't, you know, tighten them up every now and again, whatever. I screwed them back up in there, but prior to that, this man used my sink, heard that the pipes were not connected, but did not do anything. I came in after him, turned the water on, realized the pipes were not connected, because I'm like, why does it sound like that? This man standing next to me, straight face and all, says,
yeah, I heard that too.
Because I had heard him running water in my kitchen not long before I came in there to run water in my kitchen. So you heard the same thing and you didn't look underneath the cabinets to see what it was. You just proceeded to keep using water. So that happened. Like a month later, I started having plumbing issues. My sink was backfilling due to my neighbor upstairs. My sink was backfilling. So I explained that to the maintenance people. They sent a maintenance tech out instead of a plumber, and he talked about I had a leak in my kitchen pipes, which I didn't. I didn't have a leak. When he left, I had a leak, and then that's when the flood occurred, because what ended up happening was my pipes started backfilling again, and instead of them backfilling up to my sink, it ended, well, actually no, by God's grace, it wasn't that water. It was regular water that ended up spilling out of my pipes. And they were connected, and it was spewing out of my pipes. I had to use my mop bowl and a mop and all the things that are now in the trash, because the guy when he came to fix the leak, he had to buy a big gallon bucket, and then took the bucket with him. So then a day later, if that long, my pipes started flooding. All I had was my little baby mop bucket, and my boyfriend at the time, this idiot, was sitting in my kitchen, in my living room, because we were supposed to be moving together. Thank God that didn't happen. And I'm explaining to him what was happening, and he was talking about,
oh, well, yeah, I was calling my sister, but she's fixing dinner for the kids, and you was having your situation in the kitchen, so I told her we'd call her back.
I was having my situation in the kitchen of my fucking kitchen flooding, but not a big deal. I bet. Cool. The things that are allowed to happen are completely insane. So nonetheless, basically, I think you get the gist. It was a hot ass mess. Okay, so mind you, this man is much older than me. Like he's his child's age older than me. Okay, so speaking of his child, so prior to, so this is when things started going left.
What ultimately led to our demise, that should have never occurred ever in life, should have never ever dated this man ever. He's not even my type, but that's neither here nor there. Should have never in life dated this man ever. He thought he was gonna drive my car too, and I don't know why, because my parents let me drive my car, so I don't know why he thought he was going to. What led to our demise was,
so what happened was Christmas was coming, or was it Christmas? Yeah, it was for Christmas. So Christmas was coming up, and this was November October. We'll say October. This is when everything started going way left. Way left. So October came, and I was getting sick of him always being in my house because, like, sorry, more red flags. I bought like the 28, whatever the pack of chips are, you know, that with all the small snack size chips in it that, you know, you buy for your kids to put in the Lunchable, the lunchbox, whatever. I bought some chips. I told this man,
hey, I bought some chips. Not for you, just I bought some chips.
This man was literally taking 3-4 bags of chips out of my house every day. And it's to the point where I literally ate 2 bags of chips. And that was it, because he ate all of my chips. Things just weren't placed where they should have been. He thought I was fucking made, because one day I went into the living room and it was a big ass wad of toilet paper on my fucking floor, and I looked at him, and I picked it up and I proceeded to do what I was doing, because he kept saying I was nagging him or some shit. But the point is, I live a certain type of way. I don't live like this. And he was
dirty, basically. To sum it up, he was trifling as hell, and I didn't realize it. So, and then when I realized it, I took action, and he felt some type of way. So,
October, we were gonna do a Christmas movie night, pajamas, the whole 9, with my goddaughters. My goddaughter's mom has another friend who has a child, and then obviously this man has a child, and then his daughter has a sister. So I was like, you know, and I had met the mom and everything, and we were cool. So it was like, let me, you know, extend the olive branch to them, to the girls, to her daughters, to see if they want to, you know, engage in this movie night, because I mean, why not? Especially because I thought that this relationship was going to be long term. So I asked this man multiple times,
hey, can you give your mother, your kid's mom, my number so I can reach out to her? Hey, can you give her my number so I can reach out to her, let her know that it's, you know, time sensitive, so she hits me up.
So what happened was, she never hit me up, never reached out. So
hey y'all, so I'm about to pop in here and explain that a little further. So what happened was, she never reached out because he never gave her my number. When he did give her my number, we were already broken up. When I spoke to her, she explained to me that she didn't know anything about the pajama party, that had she known, she would have brought the girls to it. So that just further explains how, sadly, how much of a deadbeat daddy he was when, you know, you look back at it, because it's like, you don't even want your children to have fun. You couldn't even give their mom my number so that we could spend some time together. So yeah.
So then on Thanksgiving, I was supposed to go with him, with his family. He was supposed to come with my family here. Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving morning or the day before Thanksgiving, I worked. And during that process, he was acting really dumb up to that point. Like again, because I was basically like telling him,
you can't come over, I want to sleep, I'm gonna sleep, I would prefer to sleep right now, you don't need to see me, like I just saw you 5 seconds ago, like I'm sick of seeing you all the time.
And so I was sleeping a lot, for good reason, but I was sleeping a lot. So come Thanksgiving, he says something super sideways to me, and so I was like,
you know what, I don't feel comfortable with you coming to my family's for Thanksgiving.
And it was mostly because of the fact that he was very stuck on the past. He was stuck on what he used to have, because he made this comment to me, which will forever stick in my brain, which really probably was the reason that I was over it. He made a comment stating, you know,
I'm glad that, you know, we found each other, because, you know, we're both trying to establish ourselves, and the people that I was with prior to you, you know, they were already established.
And it bothered me because I'm like, I got a car, I got a house, and I have a job. Like, what more established do I need to be? You don't have a car, you have a job, but you don't have anywhere to live. So you're not established, but you're also much older than me. So I don't know why you're comparing your life to my 29, 28-year-old life. Like, doesn't fully register to me.
Happened. So nonetheless, because I know my family in Chicago, I was like, I don't want you, like in my head, I'm thinking, like I didn't tell him this. I basically just said I didn't want him to come. But in my head, I'm thinking, you're going to be talking about what you used to have and all the things you used to have. And they're going to treat you and be like, so what do you have now? What are you doing now? And the answer is nothing. Like, you're not doing shit. So I didn't want to have to sit there and, again, baby him to to whatever his feelings. I didn't want to have to do that, because you're putting yourself in this situation because you're talking about things you used to have, and no one's impressed. Like, he was always talking about how he does things for himself and this, that, and the other, but everything was for show. All of it. All of it. Every single thing he did was for show, and no one cared but him. And he thought people cared, but no one cared. And so that was a big thing.
So I knew that he was going to try and do that, and that they were going to trick the hell out of him, and I wasn't in the mood to fix his ego. So pause about that. Rewind.
I'm a counselor, okay? My master's in counseling psychology. I am a counselor. I'm a therapist. It's what I do. It's who I am. I psychoanalyze you and help you figure out your life, okay? So with that being said, he made a comment to me, I don't want you to be my counselor, whop to bam. I don't know why he said it, because I wasn't counseling him. I was giving him a factual statement that made sense, and he just didn't want to take it because he didn't think about it, right? So when the situation happened with my leaking bathroom and him using my Tupperware bowl, because the text I sent him
was basically like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you use my Tupperware bowl to pick up some water when I told you my ceiling was leaking?
He tells me, instead of saying it like that, you could have said, hey babe, remember when I told you?
And I'm just like, but you don't want me to be your counselor, right? I'm not sugarcoating shit. I told you my ceiling was leaking.
He was like, I had a lot going
on. That's not my problem. Because you have a lot going on because of your own fault. It's your fault why you have all these things going on. Sorry, I have a pen in my hand. Like, it's your fault. It's not nobody else's fault but your own fault why these things are happening to you and continue to happen to you and keep happening to you. Like, this is your fault. It's no one else's fault. So for you to think that I'm supposed to, again, stroke your ego, that's where I'm looking for stroke. Stroke your ego to be like, oh, you know, babe, remember? No. For what? You don't want to be your counselor, right? I do that with my patients, with my clients, not you.
Like, so anyway, fast forward.
But I'll still come to your family's Thanksgiving if you want me to.
He proceeds to say to me, well, I guess he got his feelings hurt. So, and I guess my feelings were supposed to be hurt when he did this. He was like,
well, since you don't want me to come to your family's Thanksgiving, I don't think you should come to mine, because...
Well, I don't know. He said something, and I didn't care, because every part of me was like, I don't want to come to your family's Thanksgiving anyway. Like, honestly, like, no shade, but I don't. For what? So that happened, and that was the downfall of our relationship, because I didn't want to spend time with him on Thanksgiving. Mind you, I went to work, then I went and hang out with my people, and then I told them that I was done with this relationship. But we were still together. I saw him at like the beginning of November, and I didn't see him again
because I didn't want to, because it was like, you've been with me constantly, like every weekend. I can't do nothing. My friends haven't seen me in weeks because you're always at my house, and I can't leave my house if you're here, because I'm not leaving you in my house. You're not getting a key, so therefore you can't leave, and I don't trust that you're not gonna leave. Like, I don't trust it. I don't trust that you're not gonna randomly go out my back door and disappear for some hours and then come back, and I wouldn't know because I wasn't here. I don't trust it. Hell no, I don't trust it. So
unless hadn't seen him for a really long time, and I was okay with it. I was fine with it. I was living my best life. But again, was still in a relationship, was living my best life, going to see my friends, hanging out, seeing my guy kids, all that junk. Going out to eat, going to dinner, going to friends' birthdays. Plus, I didn't see that man for a really long time. To the point where I started getting these long messages. These long ass messages. You know what? That's not true. I saw him after Thanksgiving. I did. I saw him after Thanksgiving. I don't remember when I saw him after Thanksgiving, but I saw him after Thanksgiving because that was when we got into a really big argument, and I told him he was acting like a child. And I guess that was like the worst thing I could possibly say to him. And I didn't actually say he was acting like a child. I said he was being extremely childish, because he was. Because he was mad that he hadn't seen me, but I was asleep, like constantly sleeping. And he was mad about it. So I told him he was, and then he was talking about he's going through all these things and blah, blah, blah. And excuse me. And I told him that he was also childish because of the fact that he was homeless. Because again, homeless was strictly due to his actions, his lack of action, so to speak, his lack of taking accountability or responsibility or having contracts or leases signed or things like that. Like, it was his fault. And I basically told him that because he was trying to make it seem like I was a horrible person because I basically wasn't letting him move in here. And my thing is, like,
we were supposed to be moving in together. He was falling through with the plans. Like, I told him look up places. I asked him what our budget was. I told him look up places. I looked up places, and we were supposed to sit down and talk about the places. He had all these crazy ass places that were way below our budget, that were smaller than my current apartment and more expensive, that had carpet in the fucking kitchen, different things like that. And it's like, you and I might be bougie, whatever. And there were places on Craigslist that he literally just randomly looked at, mind you, I live in Chicago, Illinois. And obviously, within Chicago, Illinois, there's, like, different boroughs, right? Like Bronzeville, Hyde Park, etc. I don't feel like thinking that hard. But again, northwest, east, south, okay? And so, of Chicago, but still Chicago. And he was literally, like, trying to get us to move into the most raggediest, the most foolish of places. And it was like, why do you think that, one, I'm gonna move from where I'm not comfortable, but I live here, right? This is where I live, and I'm okay with this. I'm not, but but all of my things are here. I can afford my rent by myself. So what makes you think I'm going to move somewhere that's smaller with another person, that's more expensive and in a worse neighborhood, that's it just didn't make sense. And then the fact that you tell me this budget, and for me it didn't make any sense, because then I'm like, so you can only afford, like, basically, like, is where you can afford basically half of my rent, but you acted like you could afford. It just didn't make any sense, because he didn't know how much I was. That's none of his fucking business, because he's not paying my bills. But it just didn't make any sense. He wasn't looking for the place, and then I guess was mad because I wasn't just gonna go with any old place. I wasn't just gonna move anywhere. Like, no. So nonetheless, things just continued to progressively get worse. To the point where, like I said, we got into that really big argument where I was called all types of names. And when people are mad, they say things, and they say things that they think are appropriate because it's an argument, but it's not appropriate, because the point is that your thoughts that you're having right now are thoughts that you have normally. They have to be, because, just like drunk words are sober thoughts, right? It's the same concept. Like, you had this stuff in your head. You were thinking about this already. You already felt this way. And us having an argument, which wasn't an argument, I was explaining to you that your actions have been childish, and this is why I don't really have any sympathy for you, and you need to figure that out. Like, you need to do better, because you're much older than me, and there's no way in hell that you think I'm going to deal with this. It just doesn't make sense. And so he said all types of foolishness, was extremely disrespectful, and then I told him to get out of my house. He didn't leave. He did not leave. Would not leave. I had to go to work that night. Mind you, he was always talking about he was doing all of these things and commuting so far. It was barely. Oh, I didn't get to that part yet. But fast forward, he was sending me text messages about how he did all of these things for me, and he was staying up late to make sure I got to work at night, and doing all of these things for me, and going through fucking snowstorms to bring me electric heaters and things like that. And it's like, 1, I didn't ask for the heater. 2, it wasn't a snowstorm at all. 3, you didn't do anything for me. 4, you didn't have to come over here every day. You chose to come over here every day, and you chose to then commute 2 hours because you lived far as hell away. Like, it was different things like that. So it was like, you're blaming me for the decisions that you made that no one made you do. So, nonetheless, that happened. It was a hot mess. I didn't see him, didn't engage with him, didn't want to speak to him. Somewhere in the midst of that, he sent me some flowers, mind you, at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like I wasn't asleep. And the flower person kept ringing my doorbell, kept calling me, to the point where they ended up texting me, hey, we have a flower delivery, and I politely told them, I don't like flowers, take it back. So then this man texted me later on that day, I hope you got what I sent you. I didn't. No, I sent it back because I don't like flowers. I don't know how many times I have to say something to you, but you're still proving that you're selfish as hell, because I don't like flowers, so why would you send me flowers? So nonetheless, so that happened. Now, point out, he texted my mother.
He texted my mother and basically said that all he tried to do was be good to me, and he did all of these things for me, and blah, 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 and it was a mess, and it's just like, why are you texting
my mom? And why are you texting my mom taking zero accountability for your actions? Like, you're literally sitting here trying to say, I did everything. Like, it was my fault. This entire situation was my fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You were perfect. And it's like, how?
It was the last gesture. Then I started getting threats. All types of things started happening. I told him that I was going to file a restraining order. That was the last message that we exchanged, because I told him, if you reach out to me again, I'm going to file a restraining order. And I guess that was good enough for him to leave me alone. And here we are now. He was obviously like just going through a midlife crisis or something, and thought that I was stupid, crazy, or otherwise, and learned very quickly that I ain't the one to play with. That relationship was a regret. Okay? It was a regret. Like, if somebody would have told me back in August that it would have ended up like that in December, or had someone said to me, no, this is a rebound relationship, and you might want to think a little harder about it, because he's also a con artist, okay? He's a con artist in the sense that I was punked. And when I say I was punked, it sounded good. It sounded real good. It sounded real good. But nothing was backed up. Nothing. No part of anything he said was ever backed up. Not even a little bit.
It's what it is. I learned, I lived, and I learned, and never again in life. And I look back, that's what all of his stories were. It was everybody else that was a problem. Everybody. His mama, his baby mama, his ex-wife. Everybody else was a problem. It wasn't him. And then history repeating itself. I'm the problem. It's not him. There's nothing wrong with him. He's perfect. He's the most amazing person, and we should be honored to even be in his presence. And no, no, like, I could have done without.
And I appreciate you if you got this far, because this story was a hot ass mess.
For some more life updates, because there's a lot going on. If you want to find out about my job a little more, you can also give this video a thumbs up, comment down below. I think some of my coworkers watch my video, so hey.
I said I'm gonna have a whole lot more life updates.
Give it a thumbs up, comment, share, hit that notification bell so you're notified if you're not already notified. If you're already subscribed, hey y'all, I'm happy that y'all still here.
I like doing this, so I'm gonna try and get back into the swing of everything, so I can throw these videos out, like, okay. But nonetheless, guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, if you made it this far, you're a real OG, and I love you for it. And I'll talk to you in the next one.